They banned my statues for community standards, so I built a mini Stonehenge. Karen stood in the town square, her calloused hands gripping a chisel, the air thick with dust and unspoken rage. For 20 years, her sculptures raw, jagged figures carved from local limestone, had dotted the hills of Eldridge. They were her voice, her way of shouting into the void of a life that had taken more than it gave. But last month, the town council banned them, citing community standards. Too provocative, they said, too unsettling. Karen's art, they claimed, clashed with the wholesome image Eldridge wanted to project. She laughed bitterly at the Ironia town that prided itself on freedom was suffocating her soul. The council's leader, Martin Hayes, was a man of pressed suits and practiced smiles. He'd built his reputation on keeping Eldridge clean, a code word for erasing anything that didn't fit his vision. Karen's statues, with their sharp edges and haunting faces, were his latest target. They disturbed the peace, he declared at the town meeting, his voice smooth as polished wood. The vote was unanimous, save for one abstention: Karen's estranged son, Ethan, a quiet carpenter who'd returned to Eldridge after years away. Ethan hadn't spoken to Karen in a decade, not since she'd chosen her art over family. Now he sat on the council, a silent witness to her unraveling. Karen didn't beg or plead. Instead, she built. In the dead of night, she dragged stones from the riverbed and began constructing a miniature Stonehenge in the town square, a defiant monument to her banned art. Each stone was a middle finger to Martin's standards. By dawn, the structure loomed, crude but commanding, a circle of rebellion under the soft light of morning. The townspeople gathered, whispering. Some admired her audacity, others saw blasphemy. Martin arrived at noon, his face a mask of fury. "Tear it down, Karen," he demanded, flanked by council members. "This is public property." Karen stepped forward, her gray hair wild, her voice steady. "My art belongs to no one but me. You can't ban my soul, Martin." The crowd tightened, the air crackling with tension. Ethan stood at the edge of the circle, his hands shoved deep into his pockets, his eyes locked on his mother. Karen's defiance stirred something in him, memories of her late-night sculpting sessions, the only time she'd seemed alive. But he stayed silent, bound by duty and old wounds. Then came the twist, a frail voice cut through the standoff. Old Mrs. Hargrove, the town's reclusive seamstress, shuffled forward, clutching a faded sketch. It was one of Karen's early statues, a figure of a grieving mother, carved after the town lost 2 boys to a mining collapse. "This saved my heart," Hargrove said, her voice trembling. "You called it disturbing. I called it truth." The crowd shifted, murmurs rippling. Hargrove's words cracked Martin's authority, exposing the lie beneath his standards. Karen's face softened, her defiance giving way to something raw: gratitude. But Martin doubled down. "This isn't about art, it's about order," he shouted, signaling 2 workers to dismantle the Stonehenge. Karen lunged, shoving a worker away, her desperation erupting. The crowd gasped. Ethan finally moved, grabbing his mother's arm to restrain her. "Mom, stop," he pleaded, his voice breaking. Karen froze, the word "mom," a jolt to her heart. For a moment, it was just the mother and son, bound by pain. But Martin seized the moment. "Arrest her," he ordered. The police dragged Karen away as the crowd watched, some cheering, others weeping. Ethan stood motionless, his loyalty to the council shattered. That night, under cover of darkness, he returned to the square. The Stonehenge was gone, its stones scattered like broken dreams. Ethan knelt, picking up a single stone, his fingers tracing its rough edge. He didn't an artist, but he was a carpenter. By morning, a small wooden bench stood in the Stonehenge's place, carved with a single word: truth. Karen sat in a cell, her art erased, her spirit fractured. Ethan's bench became the town's new battleground. Some called it a tribute, others vandalism. Martin's standards had won, but at a cost of Eldridge's heart. Karen's defiance had lost, but it had planted a question no one could ignore. Whose standards define a community? What do you think was Karen's fight for her art justified? Or did Martin's pursuit of order serve the greater good?